could go and put a bid in on the casino because he had the owner of Caesar's Palace, and then he had an ex-federal informant and mob ties down there trying to put a bid on a casino to bring it to Broadway.
Today, Wednesday, a state board rejected the Times Square casino bid from Jay-Z in Roc Nation and those companies that I mentioned.
The future is not something you wait for. It's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still.
And there's a theme in Queens, and I know Nas is a part of this. Queens get the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again. I just had to rub that in.
Jay-Z is furious right now. And honestly, can you blame him? Imagine risking your entire legacy, your billion-dollar name, just to see your flashy Times Square casino dream crumble before it even started. But here's where it gets wild. Only days later, Nas, the same Nas who ethered him back in the day, gets full approval for his own $5 billion Queens casino project. The timing feels way too slick to be a coincidence. And then Queens Borough President Donovan Richards twisted the knife even deeper. He told reporters, Queens gets the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again.
And there's a theme in Queens, and I know Nas is a part of this. Queens get the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again. I just had to rub that in.
I'm still thinking about Jay-Z and Nas both being part of bids to get casinos in New York City. Do you know how big that is? Drop on the clues bombs.
That is amazing. That's really
I don't think people understand because they so rich and they be doing so much stuff. I don't think people get it.
Like, they both submitted requests for proposals for something like that on the same, well, everybody had to do it on the same day, but that's the architect of Reasonable Doubt and Illmatic, and they're both part of bids to get casinos in their hometowns in New York City.
Think about it. They both came from the hood.
That's
Nas from Queensbridge and Jay from Marcy, and
come on, man.
What they did with their music catalogs and how they turned it to big business with investments. Nas with Uber and Ring and
who dating who is cute and who getting tattoos
Jay
who is cute, but god damn,
the liquor brands, Roc Nation,
all of it is nice though, all of it. And this is great.
And where they are now in life.
This is going to be real great, even greater for New York. This is amazing.
That's not just shade. That's a public knockout. Fans online went crazy, saying this isn't business anymore. This is straight up personal. You can feel the rivalry heating up again, bringing back that Takeover versus. Ether energy all over the timeline. People are whispering that Nas just played the long game and finally came out on top. So here's what really went down. Jay-Z was pushing a huge partnership with Caesar's Palace for $1 billion Times Square casino. The goal? Turn Broadway into a luxury gambling zone, a wild mix of Vegas and New York. Jay pitched it like it'd be the city's next cultural masterpiece, with his name glowing on top, but not everyone was buying it. The Broadway League clapped back, calling the plan disruptive, and locals started protesting, saying the casino didn't belong there. Even the advisory committee hit Jay-Z with a cold no, shutting the entire project down before it could even reach the final stage. Just like that, his billion-dollar vision went up in smoke. And let's be real, Jay-Z does not take public losses lightly. His whole brand screams victory, control, and being 10 steps ahead of everyone else. So for him to get shut down like this, and by his old rivals win on top of that, had to burn deep. That's a serious bruise to the mogul image he's been polishing for decades. But here's where it cuts even deeper. Jay wasn't just chasing a casino, he was after Manhattan itself. The lights, the tourists, the prestige. He wanted his name shining over Times Square like he owned every inch of it. Instead, the city slammed that door right in his face. And then boom, just days later, Nas and Queens walk in and get the full green light. The timing was brutal. This wasn't just a rejection. This felt like the start of a revenge story.
With their decision, as they obviously voted against the casino.
You know it. We met the standard and then some, and the only one with courage to stand up is the governor and the mayor appointees, and everybody else runs and hides.
Because one thing everybody knows about Hov, he never forgets a loss. He might play it quiet, but believe me, he's plotting behind the scenes, and this time, it's personal. While Jay's glitzy Times Square dream crashed and burned, Nas was out here stacking silent wins. He played the smart move, skipped the Manhattan glam, and doubled down on his Queens roots. Now it's official. Queens Resorts World at Aqueduct, backed by Nas himself, just got the full go-ahead. And trust, this is no small-time side hustle. This ain't just another casino. It's a massive $5 billion powerhouse that could turn Queens into its own mini Vegas. We're talking live table games, blackjack, poker, craps, the whole casino dream brought to life. But wait, it gets even crazier. There's gonna be a full concert arena, luxury lounges, and even a sports academy co-signed by NBA legend Kenny the Jet Smith. Like, come on, this isn't some side hustle. This is an entertainment empire. And Nas, he's not just a face on a billboard, he's got real equity in this. He's been hands-on with every part of the vision, building it from the ground up.
The future is not something you wait for, it's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still. Resorts World is more than a casino, it's energy, it's opportunity, it's hope for the borough. A second chance for some, a first step for many. It's where community gathers, not just to win, but to build a future once imagined. This isn't just business, this is legacy. And now it's time to invest in us. Because the future doesn't ask for permission, it moves with purpose. From our chairman to our newest employee, we're committed to Queens. And in Queens, the future is now.
When he spoke about it, you could feel it came straight from the heart. He said, "This project is a win for the community, something that brings jobs, growth, and pride back to Queens." Then he sealed it with that classic Nas confidence, saying, "With this project, the world is ours." Tell me that's not a power move. The timing makes it even more savage. Jay gets denied in Manhattan, and right after, Nas swoops in like a hometown king and locks in Queens. Fans are roasting Jay all over social media saying, Nas just ethered him again, but this time with business receipts. You couldn't script it better. On the surface, it's two rap icons chasing billion-dollar dreams, but when you stack them side by side, it hits way deeper for Jay. This isn't just losing a bid, this is losing to Nas, and that's a wound that cuts straight into his pride. Jay-Z's whole image has always been built on being that Brooklyn mogul, the one who climbed from the Marcy Projects all the way to becoming hip-hop's first billionaire. From Rockefeller to Roc Nation, he's always been seen as the chess master, the man 10 steps ahead of everyone else. But here's the twist. Nas has always had this quiet, dangerous kind of power. He doesn't chase the spotlight, he becomes it. Every time Jay starts to feel untouchable, Nas pops up out of nowhere and reminds the world that the crown was never his alone. Let's not forget, back in the day, Jay tried to bury Nas with Takeover. He called him washed, irrelevant, claimed he fell off completely.
What was your thoughts when you heard the song?
This motherfucker, he's going crazy. This motherfucker going crazy. Oh, yo.
He was saying put Nas on the record.
Oh, and Jay and Nas were beefing at the time.
Well, he just won.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That was right after he did it.
Well, who won that one to you?
Nas won.
Easy. Yeah. Why do we not remember that? Like,
because he just Nas won that battle. It depends
which records we in.
No, that's crazy. It's called ethering someone for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not called
like Takeover was way harder.
But nobody calls damn you really took him over.
Yeah,
you ethered him.
That ether, that shit that make your soul burn slow.
You got people there. Look. Who's best is to the actual, the fans' perception of the artist. Because if they're really passionate about you, then you're the best.
He left Rockefeller after that.
Yeah.
He said,
I rock hoes, y'all rock fellas.
Wait, we rock hoes, y'all rock fellas. And he's like, I think I got to buy Def Jam.
That was kind of crazy.
I need a new label.
But what did Nas do? He fired back with Ether, one of the coldest, most savage diss tracks in hip-hop history. He dragged Jay through the mud and flipped the culture overnight. That wasn't just a comeback. It was a statement that shook an entire empire. And now, this casino mess, it's giving major déjà vu. Jay tried to build his flashy Times Square empire, thinking it'd be his next billion-dollar win. But boom, denied before liftoff. Then here comes Nas. Calm, collected, repping Queens, the underdog borough. And he walks away with the win of the year. You can't script that better. But to really see why this one hits Jay so deep, we gotta rewind the tape. Let's take it way back to where this feud really began. Before the diss tracks, before the business wars, it all started with something small but personal. In the mid-1990s, Nas was already crowned New York's golden child, the one every rapper looked up to. When Illmatic dropped in '94, Nas became that guy overnight. Raw, poetic, fearless, the voice of the streets. He was the blueprint for a whole generation. Meanwhile, Jay-Z was still fighting for a seat at the table. When he dropped Reasonable Doubt in '96, it barely made noise at first. Wild, right? It's a classic now, but back then it slipped under the radar. That's when things between them started to shift. Jay actually asked Nas to appear in his video for Dead Presidents.
Of how you made this beat. I was at one of those conventions, like a How Can I Be Down or something like that. And I think Nas' album had came out. And every car that was driving by was playing, Whose World Is This? And I, you know, and the pianos and the drums and the whole cadence of that record had me like, yo, this is amazing. I want to make a song like that.
Trying to bridge that old school meets new school energy. But Nas, he never showed up. So what did Jay do? He went ahead and sampled Nas's voice for the hook. No permission, no call, nothing. Just straight used it. And trust, Nas wasn't feeling that move at all. From that point on, the vibe between them changed for good. Jay was out here chasing the crown, and Nas treated him like a rookie, stepping into a veteran's lane. That quiet tension never disappeared. It just built over time. And if you look close, you'll see the pattern. Jay's always tried to one-up Nas, flexing harder in his lyrics, in business, in legacy. It's like every win Nas gets just hits different for Jay, and that's exactly why this casino story cuts so deep. But Nas, cool, calm, and patient, always knows when to strike. He picks the perfect moment to remind the world that Jay-Z ain't untouchable. Their back and forth became one of hip-hop's most legendary rivalries, but things hit a whole new level after Biggie's death. When Big passed in 1997, New York was left without a clear king, and the question everyone was asking was, who's next to wear the crown? That's when the tension stopped being subtle and turned into an all-out war for dominance. Jay saw himself as the rightful heir. He was dropping hit after hit, working with legends, and stacking his empire piece by piece. Meanwhile, Nas already had the Chosen One title, but his newer albums weren't hitting like Illmatic. Critics started whispering that maybe Nas had lost his edge. And Jay, he was loving that talk. On tracks like Where I'm From, Jay started throwing slick subliminals, basically crowning himself the new king of New York. It was a bold power move, a message saying he was next in line. But Nas wasn't having it. He fired back with quiet jabs of his own, like on We Will Survive, where he hinted Jay was trying too hard to snatch Biggie's throne. That line had fans losing it. Suddenly, the tension wasn't just about rap skills anymore. It was about legacy, ego, and who the city would really ride for. And from that moment on, this stopped being friendly competition. It turned into a battle for the crown. It turned into an all-out war for New York itself. The city split overnight. Brooklyn versus Queens, Hustler versus Poet, Jay-Z versus Nas. This wasn't just about rap anymore. This was about who really owned New York's legacy. On one side, you had the businessman, the street hustler who flipped his grind into global power. On the other, the lyrical genius from the projects who gave the city its soul. By 2001, all that quiet tension finally exploded into one of the biggest rap wars in history, a moment that reshaped hip-hop forever. It all popped off when Jay finally got tired of the subliminals and dropped Takeover Live at Summer Jam. He called Nas out by name, no filters, no metaphors, and claimed Nas only had one classic album to his name. Then he doubled down, saying Nas's career was basically done. The crowd went crazy. The arena erupted like a championship game. People thought Jay had just ended the war before it even began. But then Nas dropped Ether, and that changed everything. That track wasn't just a comeback, it was a massacre. Nas didn't just respond, he exposed Jay line after line. He went after Jay's credibility, his image, even his so-called mogul aura. It was sharp, poetic, and brutal. Nobody saw it coming. It hit the culture like an earthquake. When Ether dropped, the streets flipped overnight. Suddenly, nobody was saying Jay won. They were saying Jay got bodied. That's how deep Nas cut him. It wasn't just a diss, it was history in motion. It changed everything. The word ether literally became slang for destroying someone beyond repair. That's how deep Nas's impact ran.
With the disrespect, but I'm really sorry for for other people involved. The other people involved. Because it was either that or we would see each other somewhere and it would be like, I don't know who at.
And honestly, this whole casino drama, it's giving Ether Part 2. The parallels are wild. Jay overconfident, talking big, thinking he's untouchable. And then Nas sliding in smooth with a win that shakes up the whole game again. But of course, Jay didn't take that L quietly. He fired back fast with his own track, Super Ugly. The problem? Instead of keeping it lyrical, he went straight for the jugular, bragging about sleeping with the mother of Nas's daughter. He really thought that would flip the script in his favor, but it backfired bad. Fans weren't impressed. Critics said he crossed the line, and even Jay's own mother wasn't having it. Word is, she made him call up Hot 97 and apologize live on air. Imagine that. One of the most powerful men in hip-hop, humbled by his own mom on public radio. That moment was wild. It showed the world that even Jay-Z could get checked when pride and ego go too far. It was like the universe hit pause and said, enough. From that point on, the energy shifted completely. People started seeing Jay as the aggressor, the one throwing too many punches, while Nas became the calm, calculated survivor who refused to back down. And that right there is why their rivalry never truly died. Every time one moves, the other one's shadow follows. And this casino story, it just reignited that same legendary fire all over again. Every time Jay tried to bury Nas, Nas would flip the whole script and make Jay look like the one reaching. It was almost poetic. No matter how much power or money Jay stacked up, Nas always found a way to remind the world he could never be erased. But here's where the story takes a wild twist, because as nasty as their feud got, it didn't last forever. After years of back and forth disses, slick jabs, and interviews dripping with tension, the two finally did the unthinkable. They squashed it, and not behind closed doors either. No quiet sit down, no sneaky handshake in the dark. They made peace right in front of the entire world. It was 2005, and Jay-Z was headlining his legendary I Declare War concert. The title alone had fans expecting chaos. Everyone thought Jay was about to take aim at more rappers and start new beefs, but instead, he flipped the script again. He brought out Nas as a surprise guest, and the whole arena lost it. Thousands of people screaming, jaws on the floor, because these two men who once tried to destroy each other's careers were now standing side by side on stage. They shook hands, performed together, and for a moment, hip-hop froze. It wasn't just a performance, it was history. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. After years of disrespect, diss tracks, and pride-fueled shots, Brooklyn and Queens were finally united. And it didn't stop there. The two went on to collaborate on powerful tracks like Black Republican and Success, proving to the world that even old enemies could flip their pain into profit and turn one of hip-hop's darkest rivalries into a legacy of respect and growth. Here's the real truth. That handshake might have been real, but the rivalry never actually left the room. That quiet tension, that unspoken competition between Jay and Nas, It's always been there, just hiding beneath the smiles like a cold war ready to spark again. Because when two giants share the same throne, peace only lasts until one of them makes the next move. And now, with this whole casino chaos exploding, it's starting to look like that truce just expired. But here's the wild part. This isn't even just Nas versus Jay anymore. This is Queens versus Brooklyn all over again. And if you know your New York hip-hop history, then you know how deep that runs. Brooklyn has always been about flash, fame, and dominance. Jay, Biggie, the Barclays Center. It's money, power, and image. But Queens is built different. It's grit, grind, and heart. It's the borough that birthed LL Cool J, Mobb Deep, Nicki Minaj, and of course, Nas himself. It's the underdog city that built legends from nothing. So when Jay's fancy Times Square dream got shut down in the middle of Manhattan, and Nas turned around and locked in a $5 billion casino deal right in Queens, the message couldn't have been louder. It's like the streets are shouting, Brooklyn fumbled, Queens carried. The symbolism is wild. For anyone who lived through the Ether era, this moment feels like straight up déjà vu. History repeating itself with the exact same outcome. And what makes it sting even worse for Jay? This isn't just another L. It's Nas doing it in front of the entire city, on his own turf, while the crowd cheers like it's round 2 of a 20-year rivalry reborn. You can feel it in the air. Queens is celebrating loud, Brooklyn's gone quiet, and Jay, he's probably behind closed doors, plotting his next chess move. Because if there's one thing we know about Hov, is that he never forgets humiliation. But this time, it's not about rap, it's about legacy. Two men who built empires out of lyrics are now fighting for control of billion-dollar real estate and political power. The mic might be down, but the rivalry, oh, it's still alive, just dressed up in a new suit and tie. So the question now is, are we watching the rebirth of their legendary feud in a brand new arena? Or is Jay already planning his next silent revenge move from the boardroom? Either way, one thing's for sure. Queens is on top right now, and Brooklyn's pride just took another hit. So what do you think? Is Nas really outplaying Jay again, or is this just the calm before another storm? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about it. Hit that like button, share this video with your crew, and subscribe to Dripzine for more wild celebrity drama and hip-hop stories that keep the culture talking. And don't move just yet. Click the next video you see on screen for another crazy deep dive into the world of fame, money, and power.